Brent, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Not too bad for a Monday.
Not
And
too
you're
bad.
home, so that's good. You were traveling. You were in
Was
Hawaii.
I wasn't in Hawaii. I was in Houston. That's the other
Oh,
thing. Like
Houston.
most of the people, most of the people
Houston's
who I
like
know,
Hawaii.
yeah, yeah. And that it starts with an H. I think that's about the place. That's about where that stops. Like, if you were to say, where do the similarities between Houston and Hawaii begin and end? It's with H. Uh, the Yeah, it was. Um, It was a good trip, but what's funny is everybody thinks I'm in Hawaii now. Whenever I'm traveling, it's like, "So when do you get back from Hawaii?" I got about the what that was one of the texts I got from somebody else. I'm like, "I'm not in fucking Hawaii." Like, I don't as much as I wouldn't mind living out there, I don't. And even when you do get a chance to go out there, it is expensive because a lot of times the thing that you're going out there for is not you can find time. Yeah, Crimea River, Hawaii. But there's
No, I get
there-
it.
there's it's expensive, and you're not always. It's not like you're always just sitting at the beach or at the pool watching the palm trees go by. I mean, there's work
Yeah.
that's got to get done as you're out there. But hey, Wendy, how are you doing? Brett and I are just getting warmed up. I'm realizing that I do not travel as well as I used to. I think this is old age.
Oh, yeah, it is.
So there you go.
And was it like the flying sucks or?
The flying does suck. Some of the people who fly suck.
Well, there's
Southwest sucks. Southwest, Southwest. Have you seen the changes that Southwest is doing, or has done, or has implemented?
well, yes, and by Tuesday morning, I'll be able to tell you all about them because I'm flying Southwest.
I
So
am. I'm anxious to hear your perspective. I think it's another example of people implementing something, but not actually going and doing it themselves.
yeah, I hear people bitching about it all the time, and I'm thinking to myself, crap. I swore off flying.
Yeah, yeah,
Like when during the whole COVID thing, I
yeah.
swore I'd never fly again. I would just drive. That's why I did so many trips across the country. And I tried so hard to figure out Tuesday's trips so that I could drive it. I wanted to drive it so badly. But no, I'm going to fly. Worse is it's going to be raining tomorrow. And so flights might get canceled. It's going to be hell. Just hell.
Um, Good luck. Good luck. That's what I.
But
You know.
it's not Tuesday yet. It's only Monday, and we're going to have a great day.
All right. So it's cool when you see kids accomplish something, and we got a chance to see that this weekend. University of Hawaii won the um, Big West Conference Championship in swim, and thanks, Craig, for adding the room in Slack. It's good to have Craig out there. The So that's you see this you see every all of this kind of build up over the week, like, hey, we're behind on points, and then we're just ahead on points, and how's the math going to work out, and all of that other kind of stuff. But then all of it just kind of and then you see the frustration because, I mean,
Yeah.
from swim,
Oh, yeah.
the last thing you want to see or even sense is some official doing this.
Yeah.
Like, right? And they throw their arm up in the air, and someone's been disqualified or DQ'd, and you hope it's not yours, and like all of that kind of stuff. Like, there's all that tension that's out there, and um so it's cool to see kids kind of go through the ups and downs and then ultimately get to the end, and then parents who you're hanging out with, and for a couple of days while you're at a conference meet like this. That was a fun thing to see and do. So congrats to the University of Hawaii for winning both men's and women's swim and dive
Oh,
championship.
nice. The ladies won too. Fantastic. I'm having
Anybody
brain
familiar?
stoppage.
You haven't you're having brain stoppage. I have gotten into I've been I introduced my mom to Grok.
Uh-oh. This ought to be interesting.
So at the benefit for the benefit of both my brothers and sisters, I say both, all of my brothers and sisters, and my mom and Jen. I am not going to share the specific example, the specific thing that we were looking up, but I did start with do not remember this chat. Like, and then and it was pretty cool to see her kind of interact with it, see the just read and kind of go. And my mom's what, she's old. I mean, I'm old, so you figure out, do the math.
Well,
She's gonna
so
be old.
did you have her do the voice part or?
No, but here's the funny thing. She tried to do the voice part, and I've got that all turned off. Like I've got, as much as I know my phone listens to me on everything, I've got all the microphone stuff turned off. So she's trying to do it. I'm like, oh no, I've got that stuff turned off. And she's like, okay, old guy, or I mean, she didn't say that, but that's but it's funny to see how quickly that's the move. Like the move is, hey, I'm going to use voice to input some kind of information, whether it's inputting text.
Mhm.
Same kind of thing happened during the week. It's inputting text, or it's inputting the response or the engagement with Grok. And it was cool to see the evolution, because it started with, okay, here's the scenario, go through and do this thing, and then get all the feedback back, and then go a little bit deeper into that thing. And then you could see it click, because she started looking at other things related to the not directly related to the same thing, but related to something that relates to the thing, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which I know is super fucking cryptic, but I'm doing this more for the benefit of my family and my wife, because if basically the feedback I got is, oh yeah, you're just going to get text messages with a big thank you for that kind of stuff, because there may be some coaching that follows here in the next couple of weeks from my mom to other family members as a result of her experience with Grok.
Well, yeah. I mean, I hadn't really thought of it with my parents, but while I'm out there visiting, I will introduce Grok to my mom. It could be dangerous, though. I'm not too sure I want to do that, but
yeah, it's the other thing that was, so I went through the whole kind of library to encyclopedia to being able to go online, kind of, I don't know if it's a metaphor or analogy. And she did laugh at the fact that I remembered that the encyclopedias were all up on a shelf that was much could reach. She did. I know I got disconnected there. She did laugh at the fact that the encyclopedias were all up on a shelf higher than anybody in the family could actually reach. So although we had these things in the house, they were only to look at, not to actually use.
yeah. Oh yeah.
You didn't want to use those things. Anyhow,
You're gonna have to go out to the garage, Mike, and get a ladder, and
not even that. You weren't even allowed to do it because I couldn't bring the ladder in the house. It was like, hey, we have these things. You just can't use them. They're there to look at. You can look at them. They're props. But it is cool to see people interact with technology in a way that is very different than what they might have ever, in a way that, in something that's much different than what they would have had access to. So if you're not getting your parents involved in using some of these tools and kind of helping them kind of just be familiar with what it is, because once you start to use it, then that kind of removes that veil of, ooh, this is going to end the entire world type stuff. So anyway,
yeah. If that's what she was concerned with.
well, I don't know that she was ever really concerned with it, but it's more, but have you ever had those conversations with people where AI is going to end the world?
No.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, okay. We're gonna have to have you go over for a fireside chat when my brother's over. We will have some fun.
Well, okay then. Let's have at it. Let's go AI. I've just come to the conclusion that just nobody knows yet I mean, nobody knows yet how it's going to impact everything, and everybody is using it as an opportunity to pontificate and to try to find their niche and to find some sort of business leverage with the tools at any given time. But nobody, I don't think everybody is both right and wrong currently.
Nobody knows. It's like this one gets used over and over and over again. I think the first time I saw it was in the movie Charlie Wilson's War, where Philip Seymour Hoffman's character talks about the farmer or the monk, and it's basically the net version of it is at the end of everything that happens, the response is we'll see, because nobody knows. Like everybody can get themselves up in an uproar, thanks, Craig. It is good to know that you like us and that you could have slept in today, but you decided to wake up. Thank you. Thanks for being here. I guess since Craig's here and Wendy's here, we should probably get to the news.
We probably should. And Craig had encyclopedias, but they were behind doors. They were reachable, but they were behind doors. And they had to ask to open the door. While we're sharing the location, ours were just on a wooden shelf and they sat at kind of a slight angle back, almost like a shoe rack. And all the books were all lined up right there. And they were literally up against the wall right by the front door. For some reason, like that was the only available wall space to put this up against, I think, or something. I don't know, but easily accessible. And by the time they were finally, gotten rid of or put away somewhere, they were well used, torn apart. Pages were coming out. The back bindings were coming off. And yeah,
I'm telling you, if you could find our volume of encyclopedias, they would look like they're brand new.
You'd open them up and you could still hear them go.
You're going, I just looked it up. I said, how much was a volume of encyclopedias in 1982? Just to ask. According to Gemini, in 1982, a complete set of major encyclopedias, like the Encyclopedia Britannica, typically sold between $1,000 and $3,000 for a standard 20 to 25 volume set that roughly $40 to $50, $40 to $150 per volume. In 1982 pricing, complete set like the World Book Encyclopedia, which is what I remember us having, was $1,000 or more. So think about that, $1,000 in the 80s.
I was just going to say, so is that in today's dollars, or is that's in 80s dollars? That would be the thing to know, because I know we got ours secondhand. We certainly could not afford them. I think my grandparents gave us theirs. And so ours was a set probably from the 70s, probably from the early 70s.
In 1982, $1,000 had the equivalent purchasing power to about $3,358.78, based on an inflation rate of 2.79% per year between 82 and today. Cumulative price increase of about 235%. So it's equivalent about $3,300. So I mean, it's a really high-end MacBook. Really high-end MacBook.
I know. Well, I know that there were door-to-door salesmen that would go around to sell it, and you could pay monthly. And I'm guessing that's probably what my grandparents did.
And I'm going to look into how did they sell those books way back when, because I imagine there was a little bit of like fear, uncertainty, doubt, and vision of the future. Like your kids have access to the world, the information of the world in the palm of your hand.
All the knowledge in this.
All the knowledge. And
your kids know how to read, right?
and then when they come into the house, you just go ahead and put them up because they're very expensive and you don't want
It's
to ruin
whatever you
them.
do. We've spent a lot of money on these things, so whatever you do, don't open them up and get your greasy little kitty fingers on them. Oh, dang it. All right, let's do some news. I did some additional work on the executive producer, and I also used Grok last week and created some videos too, but I can't find them now, so I'll have to get back into that. But anywho, oh, it put the cutting room floor at the top. I'm like, wait, where's the script? There it is. Good morning, people developers. It's February 16th, 2026. I'm Brent. That's Mike. We've been chatting for the last few minutes. And if you haven't integrated an AI agent into your morning coffee routine yet, are you even in L&D? Wait a minute. That was last week's. Are they copying things again? Time out. No, it said February 16th, and that's today. Executive producer, I'm so disappointed. Anyhow, our top story. The India AI Impact Summit kicks off today. Well, at least that's a new story.
Yeah.
In New Delhi, of all places. We're talking Sundar Pichai, Pichai. My apologies to all of my Indian friends who I'm butchering the names of your city. Sam Altman, Jensen Huang, basically the Avengers of tech, but with more Patagonia vests and fewer capes. Prime Minister Modi is opening the 5-day Sarvahana Hitaya event, focusing on progress for all. Why does this matter for L&D? Because they're literally redesigning the world. If Sam Altman decides we don't need screens anymore, your 45-minute SCORM module on password safety is going to look like a cave painting. Also, if they solve AI safety, maybe the AI will finally stop trying to hallucinate that our compliance training is actually interesting. So is everybody pumped about the AI Impact Summit?
I forget what the news article was last week that made me go search for it to try to figure out what this the summit is and all of that kind of stuff. And I got pumped enough to do a search, look at a web page, and then got distracted.
And be like, yeah. I'll wait till the clips start coming out on Tick bitching about it.
It's I mean, I think I'm pumped that we're having summits and we're bringing people together to talk about stuff. So I'm pumped about that kind of stuff, but I'm always pumped about that.
Yeah, well, and then you have to ask yourself, is this just really rich people's vacations, an excuse to go to New Delhi?
Potentially. The Wendy's got a good question about using our own agents outside of work. Do you have an agent? I mean, and for me, everything is work. Everything it all blends together. Work, family, business, they all just kind of blend together.
Yeah.
I don't have the same kind of barriers that I might have had where I kind of was shutting things on or turning things off or I guess shutting things on, shutting things off and turning things on. There's a glitch in the matrix this morning. But like I have not, and I've not really in my understanding and interpretation of the word agent and how agents are used. I wouldn't say that I don't have any agents that are deployed. Now I do have different tools that I have doing different tasks at any given point in time. And someone could loosely say that that's an agent, but I wouldn't define it. I wouldn't define it that way. It's a button that I push to go out there and go do some things. So
Yeah, And you know what? We've had that for a long time. I mean, Mac OS has had little automations built into it all the time. It's like, hey, every morning, send me a text of the weather, and it'd say, oh, what time would you like it at?
Yep.
What was really cool when the iPhone came out, and you could say, hey, when I leave home, send me a text to remind me to do something, or when I get home, or when I get to
Right.
work, and it knows your location, right? And so and so I think a lot of people are using AI to do those types of things. And when real AI agent coders and creators are talking about building things with AI, I don't think that's what they're talking about.
TweetDeck. Yes. Remember TweetDeck?
Yeah. I mean, I think of what a lot of people are thinking of what they're doing with their agents. They probably, and I talked about this last year a lot to people. I was like, I asked the question anytime I was in a room full of IT people, and there was an AI person in there, or the conversation was around AI. I always brought up the question, how are you distinguishing between what needs AI and what could just be a standard automation using tools that are 20 years old?
Yeah. So what I do use all the time, and when I say all the time, I'm like daily now, um, are various versions of tools, whether it's GPTs that I've created in ChatGPT for us to do specific jobs in the business. It's Gemini to do certain things that I needed to do, or Grok to do some research on stuff and gain perspective on things. I'm using that daily. I've started using Claude this weekend, like being intentional about how I'm using it, and I am absolutely fucking blown away by the recommendations that are made here, just looking at simple things like a screenshot of all of the videos that are on our YouTube channel and how we can optimize that and what we can change. And just one piece of feedback was, hey, the whiteboards can be confusing and feel like they're the same. And it ultimately, I said, that's part of my brand. So it said, yeah, it's part of your brand, but this is how you can use it. Like you can be more intentional on how you're using the tool in that environment. And that's literally by taking a screenshot of my YouTube channel, because I couldn't point it to the YouTube channel and have it go in and start accessing the information in the same way that Gemini can, just because there's different things that are open and things that are not. But taking a picture of it, it could interpret the picture. Now, what it could also do is it could look at our 3 websites, quickly go through it and say, oh, here's where things are disjointed. This is the journey you want. And it, on a positive note, it came back and said, the journey is start with Find My Catalyst, then go to Coach Simmons, then move into Catalyst sale for the higher end type stuff, which literally with me doing nothing other than, hey, I'm going to commit to spending a couple of minutes going through its situation to say, I want to solve for this thing. Now, in the background, there's a lot of stuff moving around. So am I using its agents to go and do things? Probably, without actually even knowing that I've got that out there. It's not like I've built and deployed agents in that perspective. Wendy, I don't know if that's helpful for you, but for me, it all blends. Like the one, we could go down a rabbit hole on how to modernize golf clubs from the 1980s with new shafts and how they're supposed to perform and what expectations are based on swing speed and the way that the shafts are built, like, and different kick points. Like I'm rebuilding a set of Ping I2. I'm not doing it. I've sent them out to go get done, but I'm having a set of Ping I2s rebuilt with modern shafts, and it could completely fuck up my golf game for the rest of the year, or it could turn me into an absolute monster. We shall see. But according to Grok, I'm pretty confident about what I've done.
It's not the tool, Mike. It's not the tool.
I understand. Um, I understand.
There is something pretty amazing about, and I'm sure it's the same way with golf clubs. But when you watch, and Craig will appreciate this, when you see a very seasoned, very, very exceptionally skilled musician, particularly in my case, a guitar player, pick up an old piece of shit guitar and make it and play it and make it sound like a $20,000, handcrafted masterpiece, you just kind of start to realize, mm, yeah, I really don't need the $1 million guitar. I need to just figure out how to play first.
But the dopamine hit is fun.
It is, and that's what I was going to say. I think, but and this is what I've always told people that were starting out to learn, that have wanted me to teach them or whatever. They ask me, what kind should I buy? How much money should I spend and everything? And it's like, listen, if a beautiful guitar that really catches your eye will get you to pick it up and actually play it, then absolutely, by all means, buy the most beautiful one that turns you on. If you feel like you'll pick up anything sitting there, you're that motivated, then you don't need to spend a whole lot of money. So that's my take. And I think it applies to a lot of things.
Wendy added a little bit more in here because she's listening to the news better than I'm listening to the news. Yes, and thank you. Yours is a very different use case, but we hear the news and it talks about agents in business, and I too want to get there, but I can't find many that have implemented it.
Yeah. I think that's what's spot on about that is something that I listened to this weekend. So if you, I listened to the All In podcast, with as much as I have a weird visceral reaction to Jason Calacanis, and I still listen because I like the other guys. But he's talking about his use of AI and how much money he's spending per day to run agents that are actually running his business. Mm-hmm. And he's talking like per person building stuff, it's like $300 a day is like the average he gets a bill for running these things. And so it got me thinking, what the hell are these people? There's different stacks, different tech stacks, different uses. Like I don't think he's talking about, what's available with the $20 monthly subscription. He's not talking about that at all. He's talking about the token usage and how many times his agents have to hit an LLM, a particular, back end resource.
Yeah.
And all of that kind of stuff. And so I put a LinkedIn post about it and asked, about it, because I was really curious. With all of our AI experts in the L&D world, or wannabe experts, or everybody testing it out, it's like, in all the things that they're talking about, what AI is going to do and help L&D do or become, I don't think any of them are paying $300 a day to hit LLMs building wicked cool custom actual agents. I think they all have the $20 subscription, and they're just trying to do the coolest thing they can do that's similar to building a course or doing training. That's it. And that's like this much of what the larger AI conversation is. So for what it's worth, I think people need to start listening to real AI conversations and people who are actually doing the stuff where it makes sense.
Wendy asked, she said, Mike, with training and using Grok so much, why did I decide to use Claude? I'm actually using everyone other than Copilot right now, or all of the big tools other than Copilot right now. And the reason I'm doing it is because I want to understand what tools do handle different things differently, and which ones do certain things really well, And I'm actually have gotten to the point where I'm asking them, I'm saying, "Hey, I'm using ChatGPT to do this. How would you do this? Or how can I do it in here?" And some of them can handle that kind of stuff. Like Grok can't handle the stuff that I do right now, where I take podcast show notes, or I could take show notes from this recording, and I could put it into a GPT that I've got and ask, and it will know to summarize it without me doing anything. I just put it in and hit go, and it organizes the way that I want it to. There's not a way to do that in Grok today based on my understanding of it. So for me, it's just it's testing. And Craig, for why not Copilot? Hey, just I'm me. And
It's
it's
Microsoft, and
it's
they will be the
it's not,
last ones
yeah,
you
it's
use.
it's more of a having it in front of me and using it, and that kind of a thing. It just hasn't I haven't gotten to it. Like I just started really getting into Claude this weekend. Um, and there's so much stuff out there. I think anybody who tells you this is the one tool you need to use is just like having a conversation with someone and them telling you this is the one way to make eggs.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
like if
yeah.
you're eating eggs any other way than over hard, you're an idiot. Like, no, hold on, no, I can make them. I can do it any different way. Like, there's so many different tools, and it's become very,
Yeah.
yeah. People get dug in.
Well, and the one thing I learned too, or that's starting to come to light more now when you read about it, is people aren't just saying, I used this and here's the prompt I put in. It's, I built this agent or this
Yeah,
collection of agents that work together. And
yeah,
what I discovered is certain tasks I can point the part where it needs to, where the automation needs to reach out to an LLM and do some thinking. I can point it at a I can point it to an LLM that's like 3 or 4 versions old, and it does that particular task just fine, and it costs me a fraction of the dollars that it would be to send that exact same task to the latest and greatest version of the OpenAI LLM or whatever. However, I'm using all the technical terms wrong, probably for those of you listening. Yes, I know, but just the point I want to make to people in the L&D industry is there is so much more to this agent stuff and to automation than even like like a gem in Gemini, which is about as far as I've gone in my usage of it. The fact that I go in and I keep adding things and changing things to the instruction set of the gem inside Gemini for our executive producer to do this is about as far as I've gone. Now, I've watched my son use Claude Code to build a full-blown application with an administrative back end, with data entry points for users, with points and scoring systems. And the particular product that he had in his head and he wanted to execute on, he has fully executed it, and it works. And he knows nothing about tech, do zero. But going through the experience and doing this whole process, he's become a junior engineer. He explained everything to me. I look at the file folder structure that got created. He understands it. He doesn't understand the code that's generated, but he understands where everything needs to go, why it needs to go there, which thing talks to which thing. And he learned it all just by banging on all these different AI tools. And then when I introduced him to Claude Code, when Claude Code first came out and it was blowing up and everybody was going crazy about it, I sent him a text and said, you have got, because he was struggling. He was like, it's like, he's like, Dad, I've gotten to the point where it's a mess. It's a mess. There's so much code. I'm like, okay, here's what you have to do. Spend $20, get Claude Code, point Claude Code at it, and have it clean up everything. And he's like, it'll do that? I'm like, as far as I know, it's what I've heard it'll do. And he did it, and he was pumped. It fixed everything. It gave him a to-do list of tasks, of things that he had to do on his end. And he cleaned the whole thing up, and he's psyched with it. It's a product that'll probably never see the light of day. But as far as having a piece and something that he's created, that he's learned, it's an amazing, amazing product. So you can do cool things and not be a technical person.
Well, and that's I think anything we can do to help accelerate the speed to trying, to testing, then we're doing a good thing. So it's not like, hey, awesome that, Calacanis is doing all of these things, and whatever, whomever is doing all of this other stuff. Like, don't get caught up with, hey, I'm not doing that, or I can't do that, or I don't have the money to do that, or any of those other things. It's what do I want to just test today? And if you can find a single task, just find a task in your work where, like, you know what, I do this task the same way all the time. The easiest one for us, the simplest one, and I know I go back to it, it was the podcast show notes. Like I had outsourced podcast show notes to Jen. I said, look, take care of them. Please take care of them. And she would do them. The problem was I'd walk by her and she'd be listening to it. While she's listening to it, she's scrolling on Instagram or playing whatever game on the phone, like not listening to the podcast show notes. And you could see it in the show notes. So then I took the show notes back and I started doing.
You don't get this task, Jen.
Yeah. Well, because it wasn't doing, like, the work wasn't working in that instance, right?
Yeah.
The only thing that is getting in the way of me pushing out live about 8 episodes that I've got already recorded is me pushing them into Camtasia, editing via Audiate to clean up some things, and then taking that text file and dropping it into our GPT. That's it. Like, the time period is so short. Before, I used to pay $250 an episode to have those episodes produced. Now, someone would be like, well, you took somebody out of a job and whatever. Fuck, I don't need $250 an episode at 500 episodes. That's a lot of money to invest in pushing out a podcast. Now, we have modified that over time, but now I can put it. The biggest problem I've got with the GPT that does it now is it thinks it's smarter than the person who is saying stuff on the podcast, and will reformat their quotes. Like, it'll take their quotes and say them differently. So I actually have to take the quotes, search through the transcript to find it. And then I go pound the GPT on the head and I'm like, hey, so-and-so didn't say that. Oh, you're right. Yeah, I paraphrased this. And you're like,
I always love that. Oh, wow, you're absolutely right. I'll get right on it and fix it. I always just want to say, well, then how come you didn't fix it in the first place? But
right. Then what's super crazy, and it's kind of frustrating, and I don't know if this is me or it probably is me. Like, okay, I'm the common denominator in all of these stories, right? So it is me, but I'll re-educate, retrain the GPT, and then it still just keeps going back and doing things the old way. You're just kind of like,
yeah,
come on, I'm not fucking around. Here's how I want you to do this, because I expect the output to be that. And then at some point, what you end up doing is you just pull the plug on the GPT and build out a new one, because now you can build it, use it, and with a little bit more information. But yeah, the podcast show notes saves significant amount of time, that single little application. And I can take a transcript and I can convert it into podcast show notes, a YouTube description, all separate GPTs, not the same. I don't have it do all of it because I don't want to use up all of the stuff in there and confuse things. But it's, here's what I want my show notes. Here's what I want the description. And here's kind of messing around with, can you help me with some of the thread type stuff? And Wendy, I'm a big Camtasia fan. And part of it's because once I start using something that works and it works in my workflow, then I just use it because
that's the big thing about it, right? I finally saw somebody finally mention this. It's been in the back of my head forever, but it's like we're shifting to systems. We're building systems. And when you get a system in place that works, it's hard you have to weigh out the importance of whether or not it's worth updating the system at any given time. If the system is working, even if one new thing has come out and you could improve it, the question then becomes, do I want to improve it right now? Is it important enough to do that improvement right now? And it rarely is immediately. This is where your process comes into play, right? Like having to figure out the priority, right? Is it, and go through the process of saying, is my time better spent improving this system right now, or is the system good enough and I could be spending my time doing something else?
Yeah.
And going through all that process. I love, and Wendy said it. She says, set up your prompting to tell it not to elaborate or free think. And I've tried that before, and I must be doing it wrong or something, because they all ignore me. I with all of them, I've tried to tell them, listen, I want it in exactly this format. Like the executive producer, for example, I'll go back through ones in the past and in the format that I like that it created, and I will put it in like a template and say, this is how I want you to do it. And where I say story one, put story one script in this spot of the script template. Every single time it will come back and go, for story A, I'm like, no, it's not A. We're going story 1, 2. We're using numbers. We're not using letters. Stop thinking. And yeah. So I must be doing it wrong, So, and then I got to the point where I'm like, it's really not that important that I'm that big of a stickler about it. So if it says story A instead of story 1 and story B instead of story 2, hey, whatever, Gemini, do your thing, be you, I just want the dang story.
So what is good enough, right?
Yeah.
So you can move forward. Yeah. And then,
yep.
Craig's got another one. I can tell you, I put these things in, and for whatever reason, again, maybe it's because I'm an idiot.
Yeah, sometimes it listens to it, sometimes it doesn't. And I'll tell you one thing, I am super glad now that at least the imaging AIs have gotten to the point where if you say, don't change anything except for this one piece of it, they'll now do that. Yeah. Otherwise, you get a brand new version of the image. Right. And the thing that you wanted changed. It's like, no, I just wanted that one thing changed. I loved it the way it was, other than that one thing.
Yeah.
So at least it'll do that now. So anyway,
we should probably get back to the news.
And innovation.
That's what people are here for. They're here for the news. They're not here for this banter. Like, come on. They want.
I know. We need to give all of our producers a buzzer that they can trigger in our system that keeps us on track and basically tells us to shut up. Then they can push it. I'm going to see if I can vibe code that so that everybody listening can hit the buzzer at any time. In innovation news, researchers at UCSF have discovered that our neurons have barcodes created by DNA that folds like origami. This discovery explains how billions of neurons keep their identity for decades. The L&D takeaway: this is the ultimate proof of spaced repetition. If your brain is literally folding itself to remember things, give it a break. You can't fold a piece of paper 50 times in 1 second, and you can't cram 40 hours of leadership soft skills into a Monday morning. So respect the origami, people. Yeah. So they put the brain stuff in the innovation and tech section, which is interesting. Normally they put that in the human capital section, but hey, I'll roll with it. Good on you, executive producer. Are we really that big on the spaced repetition with the barcode? Neurons have barcodes. So in human capital, The 2026 State of L&D reports are in, and the verdict is L&D is the new architect. We are moving away from being the Department of No, as in, no, you haven't finished your training, to be the Department of How. 48% of leaders now prioritize learning culture over course completion. We aren't just begging for a seat at the table anymore. We're being asked to build the table, design the chairs, and probably facilitate a workshop on psychological safety during table building. Industry spotlight, finance and global compliance. The EU Pay Transparency Directive is looming for June 2026. If you're in a global firm, your L&D team is about to become the transparency police. Compliance training is moving from check the box to scenario-based survival. You can't just click next to learn how to explain to an employee why they make less than the guy who sleeps at his desk. That takes real skill development, folks. Did anybody know that there was an EU Pay Transparency Directive looming?
Nope. It's the first time that's come up, and I wasn't aware of it. But I'm not really doing anything in the EU right now. So,
me neither.
A couple years ago, I was, but.
So all of you folks in the EU that are watching us, because I know we have millions, thanks for tuning in, by the way. Be ready for this in June. And I just think it's going to be weird. I think it's going to be an HR nightmare. How come Jane gets paid more than I do? How come Bob gets more money than I do? It's going to cause like, I don't know. I think it's going to be hard for people to keep talent around because it's going to be like, hey, listen, I'm working my ass off and I make the same amount of money as dude over. It's like when you were on a group project when you're at university or something, and you're the one doing all the work and everybody else in the group never shows up to the group meetings or drops the ball on their part that they were assigned, and it holds everybody else up or whatever, and you having to do all the work to manage it, and then everybody else gets the exact same grade you got for doing the project. Like that, there is a significant amount of resentment built up. I watched my kids experience it. The best value they got out of that is me telling them, this is your life. You will always be working with people who don't work as hard as you. You will always be carrying others across the finish line in everything that you do because it's just who you are. So just get used to it and don't let it bother you, because if you let it bother you, it's going to slow you down, and, just carry all the balls if you need to and get it
done. And be aware of the choices that you make. Like, make choices, make decisions, and it's okay. So, if you find out that somebody else is making more money than you, you have a couple of options. You can have a conversation with someone about it and find out that there's nothing that's going to happen, meaning your compensation is not going to change. And then you can choose, do I want to stay here or do I not want to stay here? You can choose to not have a conversation about it. And then at that point in time, you've got to be comfortable with the whole idea of letting it go. But I think access to information is a good thing. I think there are always going to be groups of people who will do absolutely nothing with the information. there will be groups of people who will bitch and moan about the information and still do nothing. Like there's a difference between bitching and moaning and actually going and have a conversation with the person who can make a change happen.
Yeah.
And then there are people who will go and have the conversation with the people who can make the change happen.
I think it's gonna force business owners and business leaders to go to the least common denominator and pay everybody the same. There will be no merit based. It'll just be, hey, I own 12 Taco Bells across the country, and everyone is going to get paid the exact same amount, so I just don't have to deal with this bullshit.
Sure. But again, it all kind of depends on the type of work that you do, the type of place that you're a part of, like all of those things, which are all the choices. Like you've made the choice.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm saying, yeah. Every time I'm just saying there are going to be unintended consequences of this law that's going to change a lot of things that people are going to be like, oh shit, we didn't think about that.
So Craig called BS on the build the table.
I saw that, and I'm scrolling back to start that story over.
That was basically you're an architect and you're to come in. And it's not about having a seat at the table. You get to come in and you get to build the table so that and lead the conversation.
So I will reiterate it because these stories are short, and it looks like Wendy missed it anyways. In a 2026 State of L&D report, it says L&D is the new architect. So to Mike's point, where this is the whole architect story that has come across, executive producer has picked this one out time and time again to say, this is important, Brent and Mike. You guys absolutely need to talk about we're becoming architects.
Well, and Debbie Richards put that out there too. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's
why the executive producer, I think, is pulling it out, because he's seeing it everywhere. It's being tagged as this must be important because everybody's talking about it. So we are moving away from being the department of no, as in no, you haven't finished your training, to being the department of how. And this is the part that's interesting. So the executive producer splits the script into two sections. And sometimes in my slow to react brain, they don't always connect. So this is one of those times, and maybe Wendy and Craig, you can help us. So this is the second half. 48% of leaders now prioritize learning culture over course completion. We aren't just begging for a seat at the table anymore. We're being asked to build the table, design the chairs, and probably facilitate a workshop on psychological safety during the table building.
So like that thing was keyword stuffed with a bunch of stuff that could be triggering, right? Like it's the whole, that's the funny part. It's like psychological safety on building the table while not, having a seat at the table and all of that other kind of stuff. What I think is interesting. And what are Kirkpatrick's 4 levels? What are the 4 levels of Kirkpatrick, or is it 5 levels now? But
anyway, that's 37 levels.
But it's like the first. Do you
The
remember?
first one is did they enjoy taking the course, and the last one is, did the business actually have an impact? All the ones in the middle, I don't know.
Yeah, and I thought it was one of those, did they do it or did they not do it, right? Like the 1s and 0 type thing.
Well, that's how it starts off, right?
But then it's that, and that's the check the box piece that's in here.
Oh no, I'm saying no. Sorry, Craig. I'm saying 48%, not 428. It definitely says 48. Here, you know what I'll do is, just so you and Wendy can actually see what I'm talking about when I say these things just don't seem to connect. I'm going to paste it into the Slack. And for those of you that are listening, if you'd like to be more connected to the conversation, you can reach out to us and we can give you access to the Slack channel to share in our offline conversations that are actually also happening live online, because we like having you guys engaged in the conversation.
So to something that Brent's made up, or a point that Brent has made a number of different times, there are ways that owners of the business, executives think about stuff that happens in the business. And Wendy highlighted happy sheet versus KPI, right? So like we're so it's good. It's good. It'd be awesome if 48% were moving whatever. And just sometimes again, I think up until the point that the executive producers start dropping in decimal points in the percentages, I think their percentages are off. Like so there's got to be like 48.2%. Then I'll think it's a little bit more real. But the there anything that you can do to actually impact the business, to change, shift, contribute to the bottom line or contribute to the objectives that are happening, contribute to profitability, contribute to reducing costs, contribute to any contribution you can make will be received as something that's interesting and there'll be some value associated with it. Now, depending on where you are and who you work with and what kind of organization you're a part of, there is a high likelihood that someone on the other end will take credit for that contribution. Okay. You've demonstrated an ability to identify contribution and value. Now you can go transfer that value someplace else or inside the business, either one of those, but those are your choices. If the work that you're doing here is contributing to the business, building value, keep doing it and find out more ways to do it. And I think that's the thing that's got me most excited about a lot of these tools is there are so many different ways for people to figure out their way to contribute value, whether it's inside the business that they're a part of or because dude, I had no idea that Claude could help me go rework a bunch of code and make it actually freaking work. Like, and because once you see it, then you can start to figure out, ooh, that's what it did. It did some of these things differently. Oh, that's what it changed. You can even ask, what did you change? Why'd you change? Like all of those kind of things. And you can learn. And when you learn in context, good things tend to happen.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I would say that to just kind of add on that before I do the last story. Oh shoot, we're already at the top of the hour. Dang, we are burning time like crazy. I won't even add that comment. I'm going to hit the last story. I put the link in for the 2026 L&D trends if anybody wants to read how it came up with the thing that is confusing us, and we can unconfuse ourselves. And I can just read our, let's see, I did the industry spotlight. We talked about the EU pay. Last story, authoring tool update. Madcap software and Articulate are pivoting hard toward reusable content ecosystems. The goal, one piece of content that feeds an LMS, a mobile app, and a chatbot simultaneously. Anchor, M&A activity in the sector is skyrocketing as agentic AI becomes a feature in every authoring suite. Basically, the software is becoming so smart, it might just write the course, take the course, and then give itself a 5-star review on Glassdoor. That's the brief for today. Now go out there and build a learning culture that doesn't make people want to fold their own DNA into a do not disturb sign. Just had to wrap that up real quick because I love the closing.
I really do like how they're the callback piece. Like we got into the origami component. Yeah. So I appreciate that. Like there's some really good stuff that's happening. But there are also some things in the middle where you're kind of like we're just kind of missing as we go through.
I don't know how to clean up unless I tell. Well, yeah, this is a process. This is a system thing I need to figure out. So I could do one of two things. Every time we have weird questions where if there's a section that we get to that is has these two sections and they don't seem to make sense or I'm confused, I could just ask it, give me more clarity, rewrite a script with more clarity on story 2 or story B, whichever one it is, and then reread it. I don't know. That's something I hadn't thought of.
The good, I think, interesting conversation today. I'm really excited that on a holiday we got Craig riled up. Like that, that to me feels good because like there's some emotional things that can happen with all of this stuff, and it's good. It's good to get excited because it just means you're alive. And
I'm glad Craig was able to wake up when he could have slept in, and he was able to understand that section. It's not confusing to him. He just doesn't agree with it. I'm still confused by it. So I'm going to have to go back in and read the whole dang thing and figure out what in the heck they were actually trying to say, because my brain just didn't put all of the buzzwords together.
you know, it's
Learning culture over course completion has never been two parenthetical phrases that I've ever put together as even being related. So that may be where I'm getting hung
well,
up
but
right off the shoot.
so here's the big challenge. Here's the big challenge. We operate from a foundation of continuous learning. We're a learning organization. We're inspiring our people to keep learning, and it's a value that we have inside our organization. Versus, show me on your sheet where you check the box that you went to the training, you got out of the training, you scored on the training, and moved on to the next thing. Because I have to get everybody in compliance with lockout, tagout training, or else we've got to shut the operation down. Like those kind of. I think there's this. I think that's what I took out of that piece is, hey, we're actually gonna we've adopted the whole idea that continuous learning and continuous improvement is really good for our business, and it's actually gonna help us move forward. It's gonna help our people move forward versus I'm just gonna beat you over the head with your training checkbox. Yeah. Oh, did you fill out the survey? If you didn't fill out the survey, you're not going to get you don't get the little coupon for your ice cream. Did you fill out the survey? Fill out the survey. You know what I mean? Like that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Like it just, I think that's the thing. Are they mutually exclusive? No. But are there a lot of people who say we've got a training? I mean, well, heck, you say it. Training is an event. Learning is a process. Technology enables both both of
Both
those, and
individually or together.
and business impact is what we're
Yeah.
moving toward. Performance improvement is what we're moving toward.
And I do appreciate the clarity there, Craig. The completions equals compliance, or we trained you, you should know how to do it right. Yeah, it helps. And so, I mean, I do kind of get that. It just, the way it's phrased and all of the different buzzwords that were put together, it's like they were trying to take that whole entire 2026 L&D trends and take every buzzword out of it and squeeze it into one article. I think is where I was going with that. But anyways, yes, all of those things. And Wednesday we're doing our hackathon. I'm going to be doing it from the basement of my parents' house, which is, so that'll be fun. And but I won't be here tomorrow. So Craig, if you want to jump in, or Wendy, if you want to jump in, maybe Mike can send you links, and you guys can take the hot seat here tomorrow, because I'll just be traveling. But yeah, Wednesday hackathon, 10 a.m. instead of 8 a.m. Eastern time. So, but we're still going to do the 8 a.m. show.
Hey, and send us the news prompt, so we've got it in Slack, and we'll just run it, and we'll see if our version of Gemini is better than your version of Gemini.
Oh yeah, I pasted it in already somewhere.
Yeah, but I think I'm really going to want to spend the time to go back in and.
Oh, I'll share it. Yes, I'll do this. You can share gems. That's right. I forgot. I'll share the gem with you, and you can just go run it. I should do that anyways.
Do it, and then
you know what I did do over the weekend? I plugged the instructions into Grok, and it went ahead and created a thing, and it did almost the exact same thing. It wrote a little bit differently. Its voice was a little different, but we can talk about that later. We're way over.
That's cool. All right.
Where can people find their catalyst, Mike?
Craig, we'll see you tomorrow. You can find your catalyst always at findmycatalyst.com. And Brent, good luck with the travel.
Thank you.
I'm excited about the hackathon.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
We're going to have fun. and it will be fun. People will learn,
It
and
won't be just the two of us rambling. I promise you, everybody.
with his fingers crossed, I promise you. I thought that was what, and that fingers crossed behind you, like a promise.
Well, I
Yeah,
wanted people to see it. So
it was double fingers crossed. All right, very good. We'll see you next time. Thanks.
adios.